Hello, this is Greg Gallison, Green Griggs, coming to you on the 10th of February, 2021. Time on deck is 2040 hours Central Standard Time. Now, I got to ask a question. Is there a risk that the United States could get drawn into a potential war between China and Japan over the Shinkaku Islands? Yes, they have been claimed by well, they were under occupation or belonged to Japan for some time, and they're claimed by China. Now, it just so happens that the United States occupied those islands at the end of World War II, took them from Japan, and turned them back over to Japan in 1972. Now, there's a new maritime law that China has passed that says that their vessels, their Coast Guard vessels, can fire on any other vessels around these islands that they claim in the East China Sea and in the Southeast China Sea, South China Sea, that is, the East China Sea and the South China Sea, where the 9-dash line goes, umpty-ump, miles, 1,200 miles or so, way beyond their territory in the midst of all these other countries. Well, by the way, it just so happens that if you don't know the status of this, President Biden has already reaffirmed that the previous policy by the United States, that indeed the Shinkaku Islands are covered by Article 5 of the U.S.-Japan Security Treaty. So the United States has a treaty to defend Japan. If Japan gets into war, we come to their aid. We fight for them. We fight with them. And Japan also has laws that says that if their islands come under occupation, and they see these as their islands, that they have to take care of that business. So is this the brewing mechanism to bring about a war? Well, let's hope not. But it's getting interesting, very interesting. So we're going to get all into this. We're going to talk about this for a few minutes. Wow. The world is getting crazier by the minute, by the second, with all the international attention just ratcheting up. And China's behind a whole lot of that. Domestic tension ratcheting up, and some people say China's in that too. So some people think. And economic tension. We have environmental instabilities right now, economic instabilities, social instabilities. Holy smoke, guys! If it hadn't occurred to you to prep now, where you been? Of course, it probably has. Well, guess what? Real quick, I got a special deal for those of you that are looking to prep, because I have 25-year long-lasting food here. This is freeze-dried food that lasts you 25 years. And you can get 20% off if you go to prepwithgreg.com. Indeed, you can get 2 of these, which gives you a month's supply of food for an individual, 4 weeks, that is. 2,000 calories a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This is real food. You get this and you'll be a winner. Now, the cool thing is it's lightweight since it's freeze-dried. You can take this with you, throw it in the boat, throw it in the bus, throw it in the van. And you could even open it up and throw the pouches in here, which are self-contained sealed pouches inside of this good bucket. And you can go out, bug out with it on your backpack. Or you can bury this as a cachet somewhere. It's a great deal, great deal. Prepwithgreg.com. And you go to My Patriot Supply. Also click on the go to prepwithgreg.com and click on the My Patriot Supply logo there, and it will take you into their main website with all kind of other great deals that you'll want to watch out for prepping. So check that out. Also, I'm bringing you all kind of news about what's going on in the world, so you'll keep your eyes wide open and head on the swivel to help you see what might be coming at you. And right now, there's more to talk about than I could possibly cover, because it's coming at us left, right, up, down, every which way but loose. Quote an old movie title, right? So, guys, I'm trying to cover these things. I also cover things. Hey, I got deals like this, but also cover in my videos things that you can get for free. How you can do wild foraging and eat from the weeds and trees. That costs you nothing. So, except for the effort it takes to pick it and grab it and process it. It's always something. There's no true such thing as a free lunch, but you don't get much freer than that. So I do cover those kind of videos. I show you how to garden, how to grow your own food. But you kind of need a mix of all these things to get through the times we're in. That's the way I see it. You need a mix of food storage, including stuff you go to the box stores for. And I covered that in some videos. You need all that. But the key thing is here, subscribe to my videos, subscribe to my channel, subscribe to Green Griggs, bang the notification bell and click off if you've not already done so. And please share my videos widely because it'll help other people. Now, let's get into this. What's going on, Greg? What is happening? What is cooking? What is so nutty right now? What is this? Well, okay. China, the People's Republic of China. There are two Chinas, actually. There's the Republic of China, which we usually call the island of Taiwan, and there's the People's Republic of China. Both are occupied by Chinese people, and both refer to themselves as Chinese, except the People's Republic of China is a represented republic, which, we typically call a democracy. Yeah, they get the same kind of government we have, representative government. And the People's Republic of China, well, they're something different. If you know what I mean. They call themselves communist. What they are, they got their own brand of whatever it is they are. I've talked about that in other videos. And check it out. But guys, here's the key thing. Wherever you go in the world, wherever you go, no matter what the color, race, creed, religion, whatever else, there's good and bad people everywhere in the world. I think good people outnumber the bad people by a good margin, but it seems that what floats. There's good people with good hearts who would give you the shirt off their back any place on this planet. And a lot of them, they have good hearts, strong, sound minds. A lot of them really smart people. You'll find really smart people anywhere. But the problem is that the governments that rule the people often diverge from that somewhat. Sometimes a lot. So and sometimes they pull the people along, and they manage to get the way to implement the will that they intend to implement, which is most unfortunate. So all that said, this is not about Chinese people, because there's two Chinas, and they're diametrically opposed in this case. But what this is about, it's about the People's Republic of China and their relationships with the countries around them, and how we're intertwined in it, and how it can affect us because of that. Okay, let's get into it now. All that said, so on the 1st of China, on the 1st of February this month, China's Coast Guard had a new law enacted in its favor that went into effect on the 1st. Okay, and this law allows the Chinese Coast Guard to fire upon vessels, as I mentioned earlier, around the Shinkaku Islands, which are in the East China Sea. I'll show you all this in a little bit, which are claimed by both China and Japan. Of course, China's claiming everything, for miles around their territory, thousands of miles. Or the reefs and islands in the South China Sea. They got that. Well, now they go beyond their 9-line. They didn't even call it that. They get all this stuff just keeps expanding with China. Just interesting. It's kind of doing so really fast. But in the South China Sea, other the claimants on these that are particularly contentious with this is the Philippines, Taiwan, Vietnam, and many others. Indonesia. So this law could really escalate tensions, because basically it says, hey, they can fire on them. But now you may say, oh, it's Coast Guard, no big deal. Okay, what you got to know is that the Coast Guard of China is known now as China's second Navy. Originally, it was under their so-called civilian agencies, if there's any such thing in the People's Republic of China. But now Xi Jinping in 2018 actually officially moved it under the Ministry of Defense, where they call their that division their People's Liberation Army. And the Chinese Coast Guard originally had, the PRC Coast Guard, I should say, originally had something like 60 vessels that weighed in over 1,000 tons in 2010. Now, as of 2020, that number went to 130, so more than double. And their vessels are equipped with some pretty good firepower. So what they've got is 30 and 76 millimeter bang bangs. Yeah, this is bigger than what most countries have in their Coast Guard ships. So this is some severe firepower that their ships carry. So and there's several of them. So this is not to be taken lightly. And in fact, it's that's a huge Navy. 130 ships like that. That's a pretty good sized Navy for a Coast Guard. Yeah, and they're equipped with helicopter facilities, water cannons, and many other things. So this is a very large fleet for a Coast Guard. I think it's the largest in the world, and it's growing fast. So you can't take them. You can't just brush them aside. Oh, it's just a Coast Guard. Yeah, these guys are pretty serious. So what you need to know is that Now they're so-called authorized to fire on foreign or unauthorized vessels that are in the vicinity of any waters they claim. Now, bear in mind, what's international waters? Typically 12 miles offshore. Yeah, well, they're claiming thousands of miles. So, holy smoke. And they're doing so outside of all the precedents of everything that's internationally agreed to. That's why the U.S. Navy does freedom of navigation exercises going through waters that are internationally recognized as free waters, which China does not recognize as free waters. That could cause that causes a lot of consternation too. So, yeah, so not only that, but so not only is China now authorized their Coast Guard to fire the vessels, but they're also authorizing their Coast Guard to forcibly remove any structures that other countries have on islands that are claimed by China. This includes the Philippine Islands that were ruled on by the World Court in The Hague. The World Court in The Hague ruled against China in the favor of the Philippines on some islands next to the Philippines that China way off was claiming. China way up here, Philippines right here, island right here. China said this is ours, and the World Court ruled in favor of the Philippines. But China says, and claims that island. So what they've done is they said, hey, we can fire upon that. And oh yeah, by the way, it just so happens this month the United States and the Philippines will be meeting on their visiting forces agreement that we had with the Philippines. See, Philippine President Durante, he was trying to force the United States out. I don't like America. He didn't like the United States, and because he saw China's a rising star, so he thought he better align himself with the new big boy on the block. And so he went in and bent over backwards and let China have a lot of special rights. And then the People's Republic of China, I should say, again, PRC, and the PRC kind of turned around and bit them, and especially with enforcing this on now. And you know what? The generals and a whole lot of people in the Philippines were never happy with that. And what happened is that yeah, so now they're turning back to the United States. So, hey, we need help. We need help. These guys we try to make friends with, yeah, they bite their friends. So, yeah, it's kind of like making friends with an alligator or a crocodile. You do so at grave risk. So, in any event. So also they allow these laws also allow the use of hand weapons, bang bang. So yeah, they got quite a operational latitude from the Chinese Coast Guard. Now, what's Japan going to do? How are they going to react to this? Well, what you need to know is that a foreign minister, I may be murdering his name here, so excuse me. Toshimitsu Mortage, he said that, hey, this violates all the international standards. And furthermore, Toshinshinari Mataso, Director of Operation Law and Director of Operation Law and Office at the Maritime Self-Defense Forces, Maritime College and Staff College. He wrote that the new laws were way beyond the norms established by the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS, UNCLOS, it's called UNCLOS, or some of us call it the Law of the Sea treaty, and we refer to it as LOST. That's one thing I kind of fought against when I was chairman of the policy of the National Space Society, was we feared what the ramifications were for that for space development, because that treaty is kind of off the charts. But in any event, so China don't even follow that treaty in several instances, especially how far they claim things, what they claim. This deal with they're cutting with or dealing with the Philippines, where they're claiming islands that the World Court said, no, this is not yours. This is the Philippines. They go, no, it's ours. And if they go here, we're going to bang bang. You see, China's got very aggressive, and this law is very, very aggressive, especially when it comes to the Shinnecock Islands. So. Like I said, that actually we'll go into that more later here in this video. But as I said, President Joe Biden has already reaffirmed, the U.S. policy that the Shinnecock are covered by Article 5 of the U.S.-Japan Security Treaty. Okay, so the current law that Japan has is that their Coast Guard has to evict foreign forces if they occupy their islands. You know, so they're actually bound to attack them or try to apprehend them and deal with them. That's the law that they're supposed to follow that on Japan's side. So you can see where these laws are in direct conflict. And the United States has weighed in and reaffirmed that we weigh in for Japan. Well, by the way, that was a Japanese island when World War II started. Actually, the Japanese had claimed that island in their first Japanese-Sino War back in the 1800s, and had occupied it. You know, it's nearly an unmanned island. They claimed it, and we put a fishing processing facility there some time back, but they abandoned it, failed. But the United States occupied that island in 1945, and as a U.S. island, basically, we claimed a lot of territory after World War II. And we turned it back over to Japan in 1972. Okay, so this is a precarious situation, especially the way the laws are structured between Japan and China. So will they come to blows on this? How will this be resolved? How will this thing play out? Neither Japan doesn't want a full-blown war with China right now. I mean, China is, pretty big player besides Japan. I mean, Japan is trying to prepare to take care of the Chinese naval fleets. There's plenty of articles about how they plan to take care of things if they have to. But Japan is not, near the power of China, except they got us in their back pocket. Okay, you see the dilemma there? You see what I'm talking about? Yeah, it's not a pretty picture. So what I'm going to do is I am going to do a screen share. I'm going to show you these islands, okay? Hang on, guys. We're going to the islands. Give me a second. We're going to do satellite view. Here they are. These are the islands in question. They're rather small by some standard. They are just north of Taiwan. Here's Taiwan. They're far to the east of Taiwan. Well, this is where Taiwan ends. So they're actually east of Taiwan. And you can see several of these islands here are Japanese islands and have been for some time, including Okinawa is just right up here. You'll see that in a minute. You see Okinawa? Maybe we should go to Okinawa and check it out in a little bit. Okinawa, by the way, has U.S. military bases all over this island. We're all over this island, have been since World War II. This is a major island for us right here. So we're talking right in this area. And you got Japanese islands right here. Here's your China, Taiwan, Republic of China. Here's the People's Republic of China. Okay. Just give you an idea of scale. Let's go in and out. You can't even see these islands here. I still can't, we're barely see them. There they are. Here we are, guys. That's the islands under question. Wow, I don't even see an island right there. I zoom in far enough, maybe there's something there. Yeah, so these islands aren't ginormous, okay? A couple of them have got some good size, about 3 islands there. It's got some size to them. That's your main islands right there, these 3. These are mainly like reefs. So you got a bunch of reefs around here. So you got that island, this one, and this one. That's what we're talking about, guys. That's it. These little islands here could spark a big conflict, or at least a really bad, tense international situation. Now, these kind of things have happened from time to time. The problem is there's always a possibility of miscalculation or something spinning out of control in a situation like that. That's what you got to be careful with. Or something going on here could spur something here, and then the United States getting involved in this and then this one together. And another reason the United States is interested in Taiwan is because we have all these guys over here. And if Taiwan gets taken, then these guys might be at more risk here too. Well, we got a lot of guys over here in Okinawa. So let's go to the Shinkaku Islands here. We'll check it out. As you can see in 1895, Japan annexed it after the first Sino-Japanese War. And it pretty much claimed it since then. Of course, you can see why, China might think they're theirs because it was theirs originally, but they did lose it in that situation. Here's those islands again. like you got a few of them. So there's a few more down there. Yeah, some little ones. Here we go. That's all of them right there. 8 islands, basically. Or island groups. Some of them like more than one island right there. So we got them listed here. 8 names. Okay. 3 big ones and a bunch of smaller ones. Well, okay. But more bigger ones than that. So there was the fishing village. It was established in 1910, or fishing processing facility, 1910. All right. Let's go to Okinawa. And we're all over Okinawa, guys. Just to take this for an example. Somewhere here, I think it showed the military. There we go. Here's what I want to show you. See the red area here in Okinawa? That's American military bases, which is like about a quarter of the island, maybe a fifth of it. So the United States is very much intertwined with Okinawa. We're also very much intertwined with the Philippines, in case you didn't know. I mean, the Philippines were Spain ceded the Philippines to the United States in 1898 after the Spanish-American War. And Japan invaded it during World War II. You remember MacArthur said, "I shall return." He was talking about returning to the Philippines, to liberate the Philippines. Well, indeed he did. And about 2 years later, in 1946, the United States gave the independence to the Philippines. The Philippines is a republic established in the fashion after the United States. Yes, the American troops in Okinawa here, 27 June 1945. Yeah, we've been all over Okinawa for some time. It's a Japanese island, but we're in there thick. It's one of our major overseas base areas. So, but with the Philippines, see, the Philippines are in play here too. And now the Philippines are trying to get us back in with this joint forces agreement, apparently, to some degree. And the Philippines, so the Philippines had been under American rule for 48 years, roughly. So prior to that, they'd been ruled by Spain for maybe about 300 years. But, we have been intimately connected since 1898 with the Philippines. That's almost half the history of the United States. For better or for worse, we've been intimately connected with the Philippines. And English is a major language in the Philippines. You can go anywhere in the Philippines and find lots of people that speak English. Maybe not everybody, but you'll find lots of people that speak English there. The Filipinos are very friendly people too. It's a beautiful island. No, we shouldn't dominate. I'm not claiming that at all, but they're looking for help right now. Because now they're getting worried about China. Now they are, as are all the neighbors around there, principally. Xi Jinping just told the president of Vietnam, don't invite in other countries to help settle your maritime things. Let's settle them between each other. And I'm not sure the Vietnam is too interesting, because Vietnam is actually one of the countries that's involved with the United States and Australia and Japan, and they're looking at maybe having a Pacific version of NATO, with the Philippines being a member of it. Not Philippines. Well, that's to be debated. The Philippines is still an outlier, but probably that was a slip up. Actually, Vietnam. And we had a war against Vietnam some time ago, but it's amazing how politics switches things around. Vietnam is really catering the United States right now. Let me stop this share so I can talk to you. Yeah. So Vietnam is more aligned with the United States than anything else at the moment. Strange things, right? Strange history. That's beautiful people in Vietnam. Yeah, we did have some consternations. They're still a communist country. In fact, they're probably more communist than China, to be honest about it. I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm not saying that at all. No, I don't favor communism. So it's just kind of interesting, kind of odd, right? But see, there's this national thing is China has been very aggressive. This law, this maritime law that came into effect on the 1st of February, that says they can shoot at vessels inside waters they claim, and the waters they claim are just all over the place. All over the place. The fact that they claim that is, just off the charts. It is something. Maybe I should go back to share again, just to kind of give you guys an idea of what we're talking about here. So give me a second. I'm going to go reshare. I'm going to go back over here. Okay, here we are. I mean, guys, China's up here. You know, international waters is generally considered about 12 miles off coast. And, you know, the UN treaties usually allow now nations to have special fishing rights and mineral rights and oil drilling rights out to the continental shelf, maybe up to 350 nautical miles. So, you know, you're talking like maybe here, of course, you know, this is another country. It literally is. It's the original Japan, I mean, original China. Actually, it was the Republic of China, not the original one, but it didn't run all of mainland China until there was a war between the PRC and the ROC. The PRC had the upper hand, so the ROC, the Republic of China, fled to the island of Taiwan in exile. But this island, Northern Republic of China, was ever under the purview or ruled by the People's Republic of China. So when they call this a breakaway province, yeah, that's a stretch. So you got South China Seas here. Here's the parcel islands. Here's the Spratly Islands are claiming. So there's no continental shelf within 1,000 miles here. Look at this. Holy smoke, it's a long way. So, you know, most they could like claim the continental shelf, you know, to maybe right here, because you got Vietnam over here. They ought to be able to claim out to here somewhere, maybe farther. But no, China is claiming everything all the way down. I mean, right up almost the coast of these other countries, all the way down and around. China's claiming all of this, all of that, all that. Just right in this huge area, way, 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 way off from their country, all the way down in here. China's claiming all of this. And they're claiming the waters. They're claiming the waters. So that Coast Guard law applies to the waters here, if they choose to enforce that. Holy smoke. Yeah, this is where like a third of the world's, you know, maritime trade goes through here. This is huge, rich trade route with trillions of dollars of trade. Oh yeah, also there's oil, natural gas, and other supply, other resources found in these areas around the Spratly Islands, and of course around the Shinkalku Islands also. Yep, they found it here too. So gee whiz. You know what I said earlier in some other videos, what China's trying to do is establish a barrier islands around mainland, making it harder for nations if we got into war with them to stage sorties to attack China. You know, how we fought Iraq was we had a lot of sorties going in. Well, sorties are shorties, really, flights. So it's hard to stage sorties from a good distance off. The closest we are is Okinawa, which is over here, which is really too far off for good effective sorties into mainland China. So what I would expect eventually they're going to try to take a lot of these islands too. Now, Japan has been in these islands for ages, you know, like Okinawa. But in any event, so there you are. That's kind of what we're dealing with here. I said ages, you know, couple hundred years, I guess, or I guess about the 1600s with Okinawa. So there you are. That is what we're looking at, guys. They're trying to build an outer defense. And see, Taiwan is the chink in their armor. That's one reason they want to take Taiwan, big time. But wanting a defensive, look, if they were a peaceful country, they wouldn't need it. If they were peaceful, they wouldn't need it. It would be like us trying to claim the entire Caribbean islands. Oops, let the world disappear on me here. Here we are. You know, maybe we should claim Cuba. Oh yeah, we used to have Cuba. We gave them independence. We got them from Spain too. But we should claim the Bahamas. You know, this is a whole lot closer to us. You know, claim Bermuda out here. Jamaica. Oh, Jamaica, the Bahamas. Just so happens China is in here cutting deals with these countries right now for their Belts and Roads Initiative. So they're getting in close to us here, surrounding us somewhat. And all our trade choke points, everything coming out of the Gulf of Mexico, our trade's got to come through here, or maybe down through, but usually comes through here, somewhat there. So they're in here trying to maybe do the same thing to us. So the world tension's pretty hard. It's pretty rough. And so the bottom line is that China doesn't follow UN law. In several instances, they violate flagrantly the law of the sea treaty, UNCLOS, UN Convention of the Law of the Sea. Still call it lost. But China is violating this in several ways. Oh yeah, they also violated the treaty over Hong Kong. They were supposed to let them be separate, and maintain their independence until the 2040s. Look what happened there. So China is violating lots of treaties. Whenever it becomes to their advantage, bang, they do it. They make no apologies for it. But that's the way it's supposed to be. If you criticize it, you're in trouble. And in fact, if you're a trading partner with China and you criticize their policies or anything about the government, then you find yourself in trouble. That's what's happened to Australia. Australia's in a trade war with China just because they want to know where the bug came from. They just want an investigation. Well, just tell us about it. What's going on here. What happened? How did this come about? And then because they asked the question, just ask the question, innocent question, it's a good question. I mean, if everything's good, it should prove out, right? They just want an investigation. Oh my gosh, China launched a major trade war against Australia. And it turned out that Australia's main trading partner was China. People's Republic of China. Let me define that. Red China, Red Dragon. Red Dragon of Revelations. They do have tentacles reaching around the world now. They're the most powerful manufacturing base in the world. So there you have it. There you have it. So guys, girls, ladies, gentlemen, we've got to watch this. Let's hope we don't get into it, but it's possible. It is possible that either with the Philippines, with our freedom of navigation exercises, the fact that we've got, look, they did mock attacks against Guam. In their simulations and stuff showed Chinese attack in Guam. They talk about having their missiles being aircraft killers and island killers. And when they're talking about that, they're talking about Guam, which is a U.S. territory. The people on Guam are American citizens. And we have a whole lot of American citizens on Okinawa. So we're in that area. We're there. And that's part of our sphere just because we have Americans on Guam. We've got Americans in Okinawa. And we got a defense treaty with Japan. Conquered Japan. Then we set them free. And then they competed with us. And for a long time, they kicked our teeth in economically. And now it's China doing that. Holy smoke, guys. Holy smoke. Holy smoke. The world we live in, it's a very perplexing place. But, one of the reasons I point this out is several things. We need to be careful what we buy from China. Every time you spend $1 to buy something from China, you're empowering their military, their expansionism. Every time you spend money for the big supranational globalist companies, they're doing kind of sort of the same thing, but for those big companies, spend these things locally. Support your community, support your friends, support your neighbors. And that also goes for Chinese people. Everybody, support your local communities. It's better for the environment. You don't have all this stuff being shipped all over the world. We talk about the environment and all things. What's the dirtiest thing one of the dirtiest things operating in our environment? It's those big cargo ships. Oh my gosh, they use the dirtiest oil there is, and lots of it to go back and forth because it's cheap. That dirty oil. They use lots and lots of it. That's how they do all this international shipping. But nobody's talking about that. Why? Because they want globalism. All this environmental stuff is more about controlling you. Some of us think we got a grand solar minimum coming. We might be in for a cool spell. Yeah, we got a cool spell coming this weekend, don't we? No, we don't. That's Al Gore said that wouldn't happen no more. Not true, is it? All right, my friends. I don't know. What's going to happen in the environment, which way the climate's going. A lot of questions. But the thing is, you need the freedom to question things. And in the end, the truth should bear out if we have free and open debates about all these things. But, just when the media and other things clamp down on certain discussions and don't allow free discussion, you got to wonder. You really got to wonder. So there we are. I just said, you got to wonder. I didn't say it was this or that. Just got to wonder. Just ask for free open discourse. What's happening? What's going on? What's so bad about that? You used to prize such things. Freedom of speech. Okay, if you've prized the freedom of speech and other freedoms, you might want to join the Freedom Restoration Foundation. Links below. Put freedom in the subject line. We're working. What's the name? Freedom Restoration Foundation. All right, all that said, Say, Greg, I'll keep my eye on China. People's Republic of China. Hey, I love Chinese people from both sides. But the government, there's a certain government that gives me the willies. I just did a video about them. Got demonetized, by the way. That's another reason supporting me and help out with these things. They got demonetized. And I was pretty careful with what I said, but you know, sometimes you just have to say things like they are. What they're doing with the Uyghurs, the Tibetans, is ghastly. And here's another thing I'm going to do. On Galactic Gregs, I'm going to do a video about why we absolutely have to put up a moon base. Why, if we let them get there first, game's over, buddy. Really, literally. You'll be surprised. So when I put that out, you're going to have to say, I might do that jointly on both channels. You know, it's a space topic. It's definitely a prepping topic, too. That could be the ultimate checkmate. I haven't be seen it yet, but when I put it out there, you're going to say, oh, my gosh. All right, my friends. Say, Greg, got my eyes wide open, my head on a swivel, and keep an eye on the red dragon. All right, folks. Hey, I wish you all the best. I hope that none of these bad things come to pass. If they don't, then we got a lot to be happy about. But sometimes one way to keep things coming to pass is just to be aware of it. You know, it kind of inhibits how the movements the other guy makes if you're watching for it. Make them a little more wary about it. Anyway, everybody, thank you for watching.